A popular nail shape is the Russian almond. This is Greg's take on it for salon success right now.
Been getting a lot of requests from people all over the world on how to create that really sexy almond shape that you see that has really straight sidewalls, kind of tilts up at the tip, really flat upper arch. I'm gonna show you how to execute that shape right now. All right, so I've already prepped the nail. We already removed the shine and applied 2 coats of protein bond. I'm gonna do the form placement so you understand how the free edge is to be shaped. I need to do a little bit of adjustments because the free edge is a little bit long. What I wanna do here is I wanna place the tab underneath, and then what I'm gonna do is just slightly cut here in the front. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to fit that nail. So I pinch it all the way. Then I need to make sure that I'm tilting this up, right? So you can see on this form, the front of the nail is going to be much higher than the body of the natural nail. The reason why I brought it all the way out to the free edge, because the farther I push it back, it's going to tilt the form. I'm bringing it out as far as I can so that I can get the front end of the form much higher than the natural nail. I'm gonna go ahead and use some cover pink. What I'm going to do is pick up a nice bead. I'm gonna drain the excess, and then what I wanna be able to do is really move it out to the very, very front. So you can see most of the bulk. I'm kind of keeping right at the edge of the nail. Once I actually press it up to the side of the nail, then I can constantly wipe my brush and try to maintain a great shape by just bringing out the excess to the very, very front of the form. So the only difference now, I'm just gonna take a little bit more. I'm gonna drain the excess off my brush and add it to the tip. And then I'm just gonna kind of round it off. This is gonna be definitely longer than the tip of the nail. I wanna make sure that my sidewall, as you can see, is just gonna try to come out as straight as I can, and then it's angling slightly up. I'll build up the excess right here at the tip. I'm just kind of setting a guide. What I'm gonna do is take a little bit more, right? I'm gonna dry this off. I'm gonna set it right here and try to create a nice full weld tip. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more. I feel like I don't have enough, just to add a little bit of bulk around this side of the nail. I'm gonna brush it all the way through. Once it actually starts to set, I could actually brush it through to make it one even part of the existing product that I built below. What I'm trying to accomplish is a really nice C curve. So I'm gonna let this set, and then I'm gonna pinch the C curve in before I finish off the nail. So what we wanna be able to do when you're looking at the side profile is the cuticle area is gonna come up, and then that upper arch is going to come straight out all the way to the very, very front of the nail. We'll try to keep that as straight as we can, and it'll slightly taper down towards the very edge of the nail. Upper arch is going to be straight instead of rounded all the way through. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of getting a feel for it, right? I feel that a lot of people rush into creating the pinch. Since I did the bottom layer, what I'm doing is just kind of feeling out the surface. It's very, very silky. I'm touching the sides. What we're going to be able to do is come in. I'm going to be able to put a little bit of pressure right here on the side. And then what I'm going to do is kind of pre-pinch. Right, just right here, I'm kind of bending this down so it narrows out the very, very front of the nail and adds a lot of C curve inside the nail. All right, so what we want to do now is we're going to build from the cuticle back. I need to get a large enough pearl where it's not only going to fill the back end, I need it to run, but I'm not going to drag it towards the tip. I'm going to kind of look at the side profile and gauge it and try to shape it with a straighter upper arch from the very, very back end of the nail. I'm going to get a really nice pearl. I'm going to submerge my brush, tap. I'm going to bounce, bounce, bounce. Get something large enough, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to set that down. You notice the consistency that I have, that I can literally push it into the sides with the very, very tip of my brush and allow it to run down. So at this point, to get my sides even, I'm just gonna kind of brush from here. I'm using very, very light pulls, right? And then as you can see, as I start to bring the product down, I round off the edges, but I'm trying to keep the top as flat as I possibly can. But you can see it's round, but it's steeper towards the sides. Because of the length, I'm gonna need a couple more. So what we're gonna end up doing is taking a larger pearl. I'm going to set it back right here. And then again, what I wanna be able to do is with the body of the brush, work it to the corners while trying to maintain that thickness all the way at the tip. You can see it starts to bulge out towards the end. I'm using the body to bring it, I'm tapering it into the nail. Thinner on the sides, thicker on top. And then I'm just lightly going to feather it towards the very, very front. Just need a hair more. I'm going to lay this right here. I'm going to lightly feather around. I'm going to kind of leave the area where it is, and you can see as I use the body of the brush, I'm going to be able to follow that all the way through. Okay. So it has kind of that almond shape, but you're going to notice how the front end tapers, and it's how we're going to shape our lower arches and everything so that this nail looks absolutely amazing when it's complete. We're going to let this dry. I'm going to file it into shape so you can see what the final result looks like. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove the form, and I want to be able to show you guys a couple things. There's a lot of acrylic that's hanging below. One of the things you can do to make this easy for yourself is any of the loose acrylic that's hanging at the bottom, don't use nippers. What you want to be able to use is a straight toenail clipper, and if there is any excess, you're going to be able to trim it off. So what I want to make sure I do too, always going to remind all the beginners out there to take down the edges of their hand files before you file. It's really going to make a difference when you're working on a real person. So what we want to be able to do is I need to try to keep my side walls as straight. And this is the thing is you can see from the top how it rounds down right here. What I'm going to try to do is try to keep my hand file straight until all of the sides, right? So I'm kind of shaping it into a really, really long tapered square nail. The only difference is I'm going to have a really tapered free edge. And what I'm doing is I'm tapering the front end. So what's going to keep it round is not by physically having to do this, is angling my file here so that when I come at the very, very front, you're going to be able to see that cut. You can see that cut that I'm making. That's huge. Now what I'm going to do is I need to bring all this excess down below all the way up. You see that little excess, that little line that I have right here? I'm going to meet it at that point. So what I want to be able to do, I'm going to turn the hand to the side. You're going to start at the lowest point, right? And what you're going to be able to do is file all the way up till your hand file reaches the sidewall. So you can see how straight that is, coming all the way. And then what I'm going to do at the very end is at my angle, you can start to see it kind of come up. So as straight as it is, I'm going to make sure that it's swiveling all the way up, tapered but soft around the edge. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Bring it in dead square, right? Lining your file at that point, but then right here at the very front, what I want to be able to do is kind of round it up. You can see how the hand file is soft around the edges, so all the way up to the very, very front of the nail so that it comes all the way out and then swivels all the way out to the tip. But from the very, very top, as you can see, it looks very, very narrow and it's very, very pointed. Then what we can do is take our electric file and try to take down some of the bulk and refine it to a point where the last bit of our hand filing is going to be perfection filing only. So I'm bringing the vent in and I'm laying it at an angle, and that way I could rest my hand on top while the client's hand sits right here, right? So this is great for the overhand position. Let's go ahead and fire this on. I'm gonna run my electric file around 12,000 RPMs. All right, so what we wanna be able to do is you can see the side profile. I'm going to bring that tight, and then as it starts to get to the upper arch, what I want to be able to do is get my upper arch as straight as we can, all the way out to this point right here, right? So it comes up and then it comes straight out and it barely tapers at the very end. Now what we want to be able to do is look down the barrel of the nail and take down my edges so it rounds it off. This is going to make the C curve completely even. All right, I need to go around my cuticle area to make it nice and tight, and then follow through the balance of the nail. Now this, as I'm coming down the barrel of the nail, I'm trying to keep a flatter upper arch and a rounder edge, so it rounds up, comes nice and flat down the barrel, and then it rounds off again towards the side. Once I have that, most of the bulk taken down. All right, so what I'm gonna end up doing is coming around the edges to make sure it's tight. You can see as I'm filing down, I'm trying to take a lot of the bulk away. Even though the very, very front is straight, I need it to round down. I still want the shape to be very, very natural. All right, I'm gonna turn the hand to this profile right here. So what I'm gonna end up doing here is looking down the barrel of the nail, and then I can work my file down this area. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it completely even all the way down the barrel. It's going to taper it out. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around my edges to make sure that we soften them up. All right, this is going to take any excess bulk around your edges completely off. I'm trying to build out as a nice arch, try to get it as straight as I can. Very, very slight dip at the end. Very straight lower arches with a very soft bend up towards the middle. And that's how we're going to be able to get that shape.
Thank you so much for watching our nail videos. To watch more, head right over here. And to subscribe to our channel, click right over here.